Some SUVs ask for your attention. This one assumes it already has it. This is the 2027 Lexus LX700, and the number on that badge isn't a trim level. It's a warning to every other luxury SUV that thought it was the top of the segment. Stay with this, because the most important thing about the LX700 isn't the grille staring back at you right now. It's what's forcing 4 exhaust tips to work this hard. Welcome to the real car, where we skip the brochure language and tell you what a vehicle actually is underneath the marketing. Everything about the LX700's face is engineered to be unmistakable. A massive mesh spindle grille dominates the front end, flanked by razor-thin LED headlights that sweep outward like they're daring you to look away first. Gloss black paint swallows the body without a single reflection softening its edges, and a sharp lower fascia carves aggressive intake channels into the bumper, function dressed up as intimidation. Walk to the back, and the LX700 badge sits confidently above quad exhaust outlets, framed by a full-width LED light bar and a diffuser aggressive enough to belong on something far smaller and far more track-focused. This isn't Lexus building another flagship SUV. This is Lexus building a statement, and daring the segment to respond, not as who tends to stand next to a vehicle like this. Not a weekend adventurer, but someone dressed for a boardroom, stepping out of a private residence, treating the LX700 the way most people treat a well-tailored suit, as armor for a world that's always watching. Lexus didn't design this SUV to be relatable. It designed it to be undeniable the moment it pulls up. There's a reason the LX700 doesn't look like a gentler evolution of the standard LX. Lexus has spent 2 decades building a reputation for restraint, quiet confidence over loud statements. The LX700 is a deliberate departure from that formula, and it only works if every design decision commits fully to the shift. A grille this aggressive, a stance this planted, exhaust outlets this prominent. None of it can look tentative, or the whole exercise reads as a costume instead of a genuine repositioning. Lexus is betting that its most loyal customers are ready for the brand to stop apologizing for wanting to be noticed. That LX700 badge isn't cosmetic, it's a direct signal about what's under the hood. Where the standard LX lineup has leaned on turbocharged V6 power, a 700 designation points toward Lexus pushing far beyond that baseline, likely through a twin-turbo V8 or a heavily boosted hybrid setup tuned specifically to close the gap with performance luxury rivals that have dominated this space for years. Quad exhaust outlets aren't there for symmetry. They're there because a single pair can't move enough air for the power this platform is clearly built to handle. Would you expect a Lexus, a brand built on quiet refinement, to suddenly compete on raw output instead of comfort alone? That's exactly the bet the LX700 is making. Power alone doesn't justify a badge like this. Control does. Expect the LX700 to carry an adaptive air suspension system tuned specifically for body control under hard acceleration and cornering, not just ride comfort over broken pavement. A vehicle this heavy, pushed hard, needs active anti-roll technology and a wider stance to keep body movement in check when the throttle actually gets used. If Lexus gets this part wrong, the LX700 becomes a straight-line showpiece. If they get it right, it becomes something few full-size luxury SUVs can currently claim. Genuinely composed at speed, not just quick off the line, steep inside, and expect Lexus to lean on everything that's made its flagship cabins genuinely competitive with European rivals. Quilted semi-aniline leather, real wood or brushed metal trim, a panoramic display stretching across the dash, and a driver assist suite pulled from Lexus's most advanced safety architecture. But on a 700 badge flagship, the real differentiator won't be screen size. It'll be whether Lexus lets the cabin feel as aggressive as the exterior or keeps it deliberately serene as a contrast, calm inside, commanding outside. A vehicle pushing this much power through a body this size needs sensor and braking systems calibrated specifically for it, not simply inherited from a lower trim. Expect massive brake calipers sized for genuinely heavy, genuinely fast stops, adaptive suspension tuned to manage body control under real acceleration, and Lexus's full safety suite, automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise, blind spot monitoring, recalibrated for a heavier, more powerful platform than the standard LX was ever designed around. Ramen-tuned flagship, like the LX700, comes with a different ownership reality than a standard LX buyer signs up for. Expect wider, higher performance tires with a shorter service life, fuel economy that trades meaningfully for the added power, and a maintenance schedule closer to a performance vehicles than a comfort-focused SUVs. None of that should scare off the buyer this vehicle is actually built for. But it does mean the LX700 asks for a different kind of commitment than the badge on its own suggests. Here's what makes the LX700 genuinely significant instead of just aggressive styling. It puts Lexus into direct competition with vehicles it has historically avoided: the Mercedes-AMG G63, the BMW X7 M60i, the Range Rover SV. Those brands built their identities around the exact combination Lexus is now chasing: comfort with genuine power behind it. If the LX700 delivers on that promise, Lexus doesn't just have a new flagship. It has proof the brand can compete in a category it spent decades deliberately staying out of. So why would Lexus, a brand built on restraint, suddenly build something this loud? The answer isn't about abandoning what made Lexus successful. It's about proving restraint was always a choice, not a limitation. Remember what we said at the beginning, that the real story wasn't the grille. Here it is. 4 exhaust outlets working this hard means one thing: Lexus stopped being content with refined as its ceiling. The LX700 isn't a badge job or a styling package chasing attention. It's Lexus's answer to a decade of watching German and British rivals own the performance luxury conversation, and finally deciding to compete on power instead of just comfort. This isn't the SUV for someone who wants to blend in at a valet stand. It's for someone who wants every other luxury SUV in that same lot to suddenly feel a little less finished. You believe true luxury doesn't have to apologize for wanting power too. Share this with someone who still thinks Lexus only builds quiet, comfortable SUVs. This is the real car. Subscribe, because we're just getting started.